Well, happening now, a classic American play takes the stage at Portland Playhouse.
Joe Turner's Come and Gone from the legendary playwright August Wilson follows the African-American post-slavery experience and a man's search for identity and belonging in a Pittsburgh boarding house in the early 20th century. Here to tell us more about the production, one of the actors bringing this story to life, Lester Purry. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So glad you're here.
Yeah, so this is, gosh, one of the plays from such a storied playwright, August Wilson. Tell us about what Joe Turner's Come and Gone is about.
First, August, yesterday would have been his 80th birthday.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Happy heavenly birthday,
Yes.
right? Joe Turner's Come and Gone is set in 1911, around 67 years after Reconstruction. So you have these African Americans who are searching for identity in America, trying to find a way to be identified as Americans, looking for hope and remembering the past, trying to find not only traditions that have been taken, but family members who have been taken and lost. So it's really a play about searching for self, identity, and family.
Is this a story that you think is relevant right now? Is it important to bring it back to the stage here in 2025?
Yeah, absolutely. The promises of Reconstruction were never completely fulfilled. And we can see, unfortunately, what's happening now with some of the current administration, with immigrants, with families being taken away. I just read an article recently that from the first administration that there are still family members who haven't found each other, right? And what does it mean to be an American?
Yeah.
That's the age-old question,
right.
You know, what is citizenship? I think the 14th Amendment explains that clearly, but it's also, how does one feel? Do you feel included in the fabric of America?
And it's interesting to see this search for family and belonging kind of woven into that greater identity and experiential conversation. And that really is kind of what gets put on stage here. But, you know, August Wilson, this is part of his American Century cycle, right? He did several plays to kind of illustrate the African-American experience. Right. Tell us a little bit about how this fits into those works, because I know you've done several of these plays.
Yes. This one is the 8th of the 10 that I've done. He did 10 plays for every decade, starting with 1900s with Jim of the Ocean, and then Joe Turner Come and Gone lands in 1911. So he does every decade all the way up to the 90s to see how history has progressed and what the African-American experience is in that.
Yeah.
And that's really neat. You know, Lou Bellamy is directing this play, and I'm looking over my notes, and he was a close personal friend of Wilson. What is it like to work with somebody who may really know how to tap into the mind and the intent of the person who wrote this? You
know, I think this is as close as you'll get to August himself directing the play. Wilson came to St. Paul and went to Penumbra Theater, and he and Lou became very close friends. Lou produced his very first play that no one's ever heard of. It was a musical, Black Bart and the Sacred Hills. It was a Western musical. Didn't quite make the cut, but you'll hear a lot of names surrounding August, but this is the person that first saw the talent in him and started putting on his productions. As a matter of fact, when August first came to Penumbra and saw a production, he wondered if any of his plays would ever be good enough to be on that stage.
Wow.
I think it's worked out. I think it's worked out. Wow, that's incredible.
You get to get really close to August Wilson through Lou's vision here with this show, but also just through the fact that Portland Playhouse is such a fantastic place to go and see a show. It's a really intimate setting. You really do have, like, everyone has a front row seat to the theater.
Absolutely. You know, One of the beautiful things about this space is that once the play starts and you settle in, you can forget that you're watching a play and actually feel like you're, for instance, in this family's boarding house, that you're in the living room, you're in the parlor, you're in the kitchen. The beautiful thing about intimate theater is that it really becomes symbiotic.
Yeah.
The audience and the actors and the lighting and the sound is almost as though you're dancing this thing together. It's almost like a living painting that you get to witness. It's really quite amazing.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, it's an important production, and Lester, we really appreciate your time to talk about it, and enjoy the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And again, you can catch Joe Turner's Come and Gone on stage at the Portland Playhouse tomorrow through June 8th. For those tickets, showtimes, and so much more, we have all that information right now on Coin.